Hi, my name is Miss Melissa, and I am a teaching artist in the PACE program with the Acadiana Center for the Arts and the Lafayette Parish School System in Lafayette, Louisiana. Today, we are going to be learning about what volcanoes are made of by creating one using this special technique with dots. Very similar to the one that I have behind me, except that one was made with paint. We are going to be using ink today. So let's go ahead and get our supplies so we can get started. You are going to need one white sheet of paper. This is copy paper. You can use drawing paper, the back of a recycled sheet of paper. Okay, so go ahead and get you one white paper. You're also going to need a pencil, an eraser, a pair of scissors, and black markers. I just grabbed a few in case I run out. So if you want to pause the video and go ahead and get your supplies, I'll be here when you get back. Now let's go ahead and get our paper ready. First thing I want you to do is take your paper and you are going to fold it like a book, okay? Not like a hot dog, like a book. Make sure the sides touch and the corners. Once you fold it, go ahead and press, make a crease, and we are going to cut along the crease. We only need 1/2 of this paper. So we're getting our paper ready. You're going to open your scissors and take your time, and we want a nice straight line on the crease. And you could even get a black sheet of paper and put it underneath. It will help you see it a lot better. And we're gonna draw on our paper going up and down. Before we get started, I wanted to show you a drawing of a volcano. Now, if you haven't seen my first video, Volcanic Eruptions Part 1 with paper, you might want to go ahead and watch that one first, because in that video, you're actually able to make a volcano and all of the 3 parts of it, which we're going to talk about today. Now, if you look at the drawing, you can actually see all the different parts of this volcano. Now, let's just look at this picture here. So the brown part would be considered the rock form, right? It's from the earth. A volcano it's pretty much like a mountain. So this is the rock, all right? We also have the orange part is called what? The lava, very good. And the gray part is called the smoke. So volcanoes consist of rocks, lava, and smoke. These are actually 3 types of matter called solid, liquids, and gases. Can you guess which one is going to be the solid? If you were thinking a volcano where the rock is actually formed, you are correct. What part of the volcano would be considered a liquid? If you were thinking the lava, which is the orange part, very good. And which part of the volcano is considered the gas? If you were thinking it's the smoke, you are correct. Very good. Now, with these 3 forms of matter, solids, liquids, and gases, there is something called molecules. Molecules are basically imaginary little dots. So if you could imagine that the rock formation, the lava, and the gases were made of imaginary dots, this is what it would look like. Solids are very, very close together. The molecules touch. There's not a whole lot of space. So that's what would go, inside of the actual rock formation of the volcano. Now liquids are a little more spaced apart. The molecules of a liquid touch in some areas, but then they're also a little spaced apart. Now, the molecules of a gas, do they touch? No, not at all. The gas molecules that are, that make up the inside of gases don't touch at all. They're very spread apart. So, excuse me, we are going to actually make a volcano today by drawing the molecules with a special art technique called stippling. I'm going to show you what that is next. Now, here I have an art print by an Italian artist named Giulio Campagnola. Now, this artist was alive around the 1500s, which was over 500 years ago. This is an actual engraving. I'm not sure exactly what type of art engraving it is, but it is an engraving, which means that he actually had to put a tool onto a surface and like scrape out part of that surface to create this effect. So it's kind of neat. Now, this particular artist, Giulio, invented the technique of stippling. And stippling is when you make art that has different ranges of darks and to lights, okay? Now, let me show you an example. And what you do with this type of artwork, you get these darks to lights or lights to dark by making lots and lots of tiny dots. If you look at this area of his arm right here, you see how it goes from light to dark? Now I'm going to show you an up-close version of his arm. Can you see that? The dots here are very spread out, whereas the dots where it's very dark are very what? Close together. Very good. Now, this artist invented stippling. Let's look at maybe some artwork that is created today. This is a picture of some art made by Rob Christensen. He is an American artist, and he loves creating dogs as his subject. Now, he also uses stippling where he has many dots that go from light to dark or dark to light. This whole picture is made up of just dots. It doesn't look like it, does it? It just looks like it's shaded, right? It almost even looks like a photograph. It's a beautiful picture. Now, I'm going to show you an up-close part of the picture where you can see lots of dots. Do you see this area right here? Watch, I'm going to show you it up close, a zoomed in version. Look at that. You could actually see these tiny little dots. And if you notice the area that's very light, where it has more white, the dots are spread apart. And the area that is darker, the dots are closer together. So this artist, Rob Christensen, he also used the technique of stippling, creating art by making dots. We are going to do that today with volcanoes. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's get started. So I want you to make sure the paper that we cut earlier is up and down. Now that you know the three parts of a volcano, the rocks, the lava, and the smoke, and how each are related to matter, as the rocks being a solid, the lava being a liquid, and the smoke being a gas, we can now get started drawing those three types of matter in the form of molecules that looks just like stippling art. We're going to make them of dots. So now let's go ahead and draw the actual shape of a volcano. Now, our volcano is going to start on the bottom, the actual mountainous part, and right about in the middle is where it's going to end. So with your pencil, let's make a dot. And we're going to erase all of the drawing later. So draw super, super light with your pencil. Okay? Now I'm going to make a slight curvy line like this. And I'm just going to kind of make, it's almost like the shape of a triangle, right? But it's got some bumps. So I'm going to bring my volcano down to the bottom like that. Just a bumpy triangle. And now with my pencil, I'm just going to draw some bumpy lines of lava. And I want you to draw very, very light. We're just going to show the lava going down here. And you could also draw lava running off the side of the mountain as well. You could add more lava if you want. Okay? Now for the gas, which is the smoke, we're going to just create that freely with our marker. So I'm going to erase the dot. And I'm going to draw my little curvy line here. Very good. So now you have the rock formation of the volcano and the lava. We can get started with our stippling art. All right, so I'm just going to get my black marker. So go ahead and get your black marker. And we're going to start making our solids. So I'm going to show you this to help you. Remember, solid molecules are very close together. So if we're going to make solid molecules, what are we going to create dots with? Are we going to create dots in the lava or on the rock formation? Very good, the rock formation. You can touch and feel a solid. It's hard. So what I want you to do is right along. Now remember, we're making dots, so it's going to take a little while, but it's going to be really cool. And we're just going to fill in the rock formation with dots. So right now, what am I doing? Can you see that? Let me get up close. I am outlining around the lava so I could create all of my rock formations. Look at that. I'm going to fill up the entire volcano with lots and lots of dots. Now, I know you may be tempted to want to maybe color it, but don't. We're not going to color the volcano. We are going to go up and down and create dots. So just follow along with me. It will take a little bit of time, but that's why we cut our paper in half. Now, and I'll tell you a secret. I have honestly never made a picture with dots, which is called what? Stippling. Very good. I never have. I have never made art with stippling technique. It's a technique. Usually I just shade. I've shaded lots of pictures, but I've never done this. So this is my first time doing this. Now, I did use certain kind of ink pens before and like would just make cool designs with dots and dashes and things like that, but I have never really made art with dots. So I'm excited. We're doing this together for the first time. I'm guessing you have never made art with dots either. So we're going to do it together. I'm excited. I really am. And it's not really, look how much I've done already. Now, am I placing these dots far apart or are they close together? They are very close together because I'm creating solids. We know solids are made of tiny imaginary molecules that are very close together. That's what I love about this project. The technique of stippling, which is what? Very good. Creating dots is the same thing as the dots that we see in matter. That represents molecules. Stippling is kind of like molecules. And it's so cool because volcanoes have 3 types of matter. All right, so far so good. I am going to show you this up close again so you could see what it looks like. The dots I have are very close together, and I'm probably going to fill them in some more too. Let's just keep filling them in. Whatever you do, don't color. Don't start coloring. Keep your hand moving up and down. I'm going to go back and just, fill in a little more. Now, if you use the side of your marker versus the point, you'll notice a difference. Try to use the point because you'll get a good circular shape. And now that I already filled in a big part of this, I'm just kind of going back a little quicker. All right, so let's make more dots on this side. Take your time. You're doing a great job. It does take a little bit of time, but it's going to be so neat when we're finished. Now I can tell you a little bit about the history of stippling if you want to know. Remember how I showed you that picture of, what was his name? Giulio, that Italian artist in the 1500s? Well, his type of stippling was used with an art form called engraving. Well, whenever you engrave something, artists would engrave on stone, glass, metal, and wood. I'm not sure what that picture was made of. But after stippling was created with engravings, guess what? It transferred over to another type of art form called printmaking. And then after printmaking had stippling, people started painting using the technique of stippling, which would be what? If you see a painting that has stippling, then you're just going to see tiny dots of what? Paint. Very good. Well, after that, then different artists were like, hey, why can't we draw with stippling? And here we are. We are drawing by stippling. We're not engraving. We're not printing. We're not painting. We are drawing. So that is the history of stippling. It's moved across several art forms. Pretty cool, huh? And I just learned that recently. I actually like drawing with stippling the best. It's my favorite because you saw that picture of the dog, right? It's hard to believe that that beautiful print of that dog was made up of thousands of dots. It was beautiful. So you can actually create lights and darks by stippling, making dots, just like we're doing now. Now you notice, now that I filled it in, I'm just haphazardly going up and down, getting them closer and closer. And you notice how they're very close. Is my picture getting lighter or is it getting darker? Very good. It has gotten darker. And I have just filled in all of my rock formations, which serve as the what? The solid. Very good. We are going to make the liquid next, which would be the lava. You may pause the video if I'm going too fast, and I will be here when you get back. So feel free to pause if you need to. All right, let's take a look at the liquid molecules, which are, most of them touch in a straight line, right? But then there's space in between others. So we're gonna make some touch and make some spread out. So what's gonna help? Let's go ahead and trace the lava, but this time, whenever I say trace it, we're gonna put dots all along the edge, right? Let's go ahead and spread these dots out. We're not gonna put them as close as we did with the solid. So basically, we don't want these to touch. Let me show you what this will kind of look like. Do you see how there's space in between? Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So keep in mind, for the lava, we want it to look lighter than the rock formation. So how do we do that? Well, in order for the lava to look lighter, we are going to spread them out. Let's start off by not making these dots touch. Okay? We're not going to put any dots touching. How is that? You see that? This looks great. So now what we need to do is we need to put some of them touching. So not all of them, but some of them, because this kind of looks more like a gas, right? So I kind of started off with not having them touch. Now let's make a few of them touch. But they're not going to be as close as the solids though. So it's kind of like an in-between, a medium. Let's put some dots touching, and then we're going to leave some space. So we're just going to basically fill in a little bit. Maybe here, maybe there. It still looks different than the rock formation. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? I can put maybe some touching along the edge. How's that? Now what I could do is darken the areas of the rock. So if it starts to look a little bit too close to the lava, if the lava and the rocks formations look too close, we can always put more dots in the rock. So let's go ahead and do that. We can always, let's put a few more dots in the rock formation, especially around the lava. So you can always add more to the rocks. I would leave the lava alone. The liquid molecules look good. They're spread out. Some are touching. I'm just going to make some more of my solids touch, which is normal whenever you're working with value. Value is a fancy word for lights and darks. There we go. We want to see the difference. I think that looks great. Let's move on to gas molecules. Now we can create our, what? Our smoke. Smoke rises in kind of a wavy line. So let's go ahead and spread these gas molecules out. Notice I'm kind of making this wavy line, see? Like that. This will not take very long at all. Pretend you're making a big wavy line. Wow, look at that. Let's look at it up close. This is much lighter. The smoke looks more lighter than the lava because my dots are more spread out, just like the gas molecules are more spread out. Do you see that? We just created a volcano made out of dots. I love it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put maybe a few more in my rock formation at the bottom. And then what we're gonna do lastly is erase our pencil because we don't wanna see the pencil at all. So you should definitely see a difference. Dark, medium, and light. Dots are close together. Dots are very far apart, and the dots are kind of in the middle. So you should see a difference between the rock formation, the lava, and the smoke. Now when you are finished, you can take your eraser and erase the pencil lines the best you can. Now it's not going to erase the marker at all, just to get rid of the pencil, because we don't need the pencil anymore. Now do you see why I had you trace the pencil with your marker making the dots? This came out really neat. I think I like creating with the technique of stippling. I might be able to put a little bit more right under the lava to make the lava stand out. This is fun. Now I want to make another picture with stippling art. I hope you enjoyed creating your picture, making lots of dots. You see, look, I could even get darker. So I'm just gonna kind of play around with it a little bit. There's still more room for me to fill up some spaces in the solid. You see that? It looks great. I think you did a fabulous job today. I really hope that you enjoyed making your volcano with me with the technique of stippling. Great job. Thank you for joining me today. We will be posting a new lesson every day at 10 a.m. on the Acadiana Center for the Arts YouTube channel for kindergarten, first, and second grades, each tying into the academic curriculum. You can also get these lessons on AOC as part of the Learn United program, accessible on Cox Channel 16 or LUS Channel 4. Kindergarten lessons air at 8 a.m. and first and second grade lessons air at 9 a.m. Some lessons will be in visual arts and some lessons will be in creative movement. So be sure to come back and make art with us tomorrow. If you are interested in supporting programs like this, visit the Acadiana Center for the Arts.org, which is the nonprofit organization who manages this PACE program. Spread the word, share our videos, and keep making art. Want more? You can book me for a private online lesson, and my email is in the description box below. Thank you and have a great day.